man of all trades, and this week my best friend April Wilkerson from Wilkerdo's came out to help me with the next stage of the tiny house build. Bonus, she brought her friend George Vondriska to help, and we got a whole lot done, and I can't wait to show you about it. My friends and I have pooled our efforts to build this tiny house for my mom in a record amount of time. First, April Wilkerson came down and, well, I guess up because she's in Texas, but she came up for 7 days and we framed out the exterior. And what I'll show you in this video is what happened on days 8, 9, and 10. I used reclaimed doors and windows for this project that I'd gotten for free because all the hardware was rusted out and my neighbor was throwing them away. So for $12 and a little elbow grease, I was able to salvage the doors and get some nice doors and windows for my tiny house. Then for my 30th birthday, April came back to Seattle, and as a bonus, she brought her friend George Vondriska, who helped her with her shop build. And between the three of us, the next 3 days saw a whole lot of progress on the tiny house. When I was building my wood shop, I got the gist of what needed to happen to pull wire, hang insulation, and drywall, but working closely with George and April in the tiny house, I learned so much more about how to work efficiently and smarter and perform those tasks just better in general. Suffice it to say, thanks to their input, the tiny house is buttoned up a whole lot more efficiently than my wood shop is. I know you came here to forge, but I really appreciate that you're here.
Oh, it's okay, man. We forged a friendship.
Yes! In my last video, there was a whole lot of questions about cost, layout, and finishing plans, and so I figured I would just talk a little bit about those here. First, cost. The exterior of the tiny house, the framing, siding, decking, caulking, paint, and steel roof was about $3,000. I mentioned that I got recycled windows and doors for free, so that saved a big chunk of money. I invested another $1,000 on the interior for this portion of the build that covered insulation, wiring, subfloor, drywalling materials, and concrete backing for the wood stove. Tiny Wood Stove sent me the stove that I'm installing as a gift, but for the curious mind, the stove and the chimney attachments cost about $1,000 to $1,200 once all is said and done. I use a Tiny Wood Stove to keep my wood shop and I love it, so it was a no-brainer to put one in my tiny house as well. And these stoves are extremely efficient, compact, and the tiny house is going to be guaranteed to be warm and cozy all winter long. By the time I've painted, installed flooring, and built out the interior of the tiny house, I'm expecting to have invested another $3,000, bringing the grand total of the building to $7,000. I have plans to install solar energy to power the tiny house. That will obviously be an added cost, but one that is fairly specific to this particular build. I'll be installing a mini kitchen, and I have some very cool ideas for furnishing the bed and living room in a very cute and space-efficient manner, but those are obviously going to be projects and videos for another day. This here dirt, like a glove.
Homemaking on all levels. Building and then cleaning.
Perfect. Make my home anytime. Okay, get those fingies out of there. Yep. Good. Woo. We'll put the one underneath those guys, and then we'll go up. Yeah, but we will want to chop line them so we can get the studs. Perfect. I'll get the hernia. Let's holy. Okay. And this. Go ahead, Amy. Yep. One thing that saves a whole lot of time, money, space, and building code issues is that this tiny house will not have a bathroom. There will be an outhouse outside with a composting toilet and an outdoor solar shower with gray water collection, and the tiny house is also quite conveniently located to my outdoor kitchen and my house, so the water, kitchen, and bathroom features aren't nearly as crucial in this structure as it would be for someone else in a different location that was depending on those things, you know, for their human needs. But because my mom loves cooking and I know she's going to want to make coffee and other things out here, there will be a small kitchenette that can accommodate those things. And obviously the outhouse and solar shower will be options, but it's still pretty close to the house, so it's not a very far walk to enjoy regular comforts. When you get some hard workers in here, like April and our friend George that was also here, it sure is coming together. There it is, thank you. Got it. Hopefully we'll be ready for our first sleepover in November. Yay.
Well, that's a really nice looking seam.
It's not even. That's the problem. Dear Nick, I kept the water off of your ladder, but I covered it in drywall mud. XOXO.
Then next time be more specific.
So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you leave this video feeling challenged and inspired to get outside and to make things with your own hands as well. If you would like to support the continuation of the creation of these videos and these projects, I would love it if you'd head on over to Patreon and support my channel as well. Cheers.
This is where the stud goes.
The inspector is here to make sure that everything is done on the up and up.
So this is on the
There are three other huge heroes that appear behind the scenes in this video that I would love to give a huge shout out to now. First, Adam of No Trades, my husband, is not usually one to be super keen about the farm projects. However, in this particular case, he was so excited to help out, he actually kick-started the whole caulking and sealing and priming process on the tiny house, but unfortunately he was involved in a really serious bike crash and has actually been recovering from surgery since. So he wasn't able to see that project through. In the midst of all that, my friend Eli, who has been coming around the farm for about a year, just on and off sometimes to help with random garden projects or just hang out, saw that I was working 18 to 20, sometimes 22-hour days, and asked me if there was anything that he could do to help. He actually is pretty interested in the whole content creation side of things, and so he offered to start helping me edit videos, and I have since hired him to work for me part-time, and having him just be involved in the video making process has been a huge godsend. And the cherry on top of this awesome group of people that has been involved with all the projects this summer is my friend Nick, who's a farmer from Maryland. Just moved to Seattle to live with Adam and I and to help me tackle some of the larger scale long-term projects on the farm that I simply haven't had time to tackle by myself.